You know someone like this. He bursts with brilliant ideas. He speaks of breathtaking futures. He dreams in colors too vivid for the world he walks through. Every conversation with him feels like standing next to a rocket about to launch, but it never does. The excuses are always ready, polished, almost poetic. It wasn't the right moment. The world wasn't ready for his vision. People didn't understand him. Yet, maybe this man is your brother, your boyfriend, your father. Or maybe, if you're honest, it's you, a man trapped in time, a body that grew up while the soul stayed behind, an adult face hiding the emotional turbulence of a restless boy, brilliant, creative, and yet stuck. He lives in a world of eternal possibility and perpetual non-action. Carl Jung named this pattern the poor eternus, the eternal boy, the man who refuses to step fully into life, the man forever preparing for greatness, but never arriving. He enchants with energy, sparks with creativity, dances with spontaneity. But behind the glow lies a devastating shadow, the inability to stand firm in the real world. The puer expects life to bend to him. He believes the perfect job, the perfect love, the perfect world will simply fall into his hands. And when the world inevitably fails to match his fantasies, he doesn't fight harder, he retreats. When life demands endurance, he escapes. When love demands responsibility, he vanishes. When failure knocks, he hides behind dreams so lofty they can never be tested. You've seen it before. You've felt it before. Maybe you've exhausted yourself trying to save someone trapped in this endless twilight. You gave advice. You offered opportunities. You poured your strength into their potential, and they smiled, thanked you, and changed nothing. Sometimes they even turned the guilt back onto you. You were asking too much. You didn't believe enough. You were stifling their freedom. But the brutal truth is this: the man you know is not free. He is not choosing a higher path. He is trapped in a golden cage built from his own fear. If he does not wake up, if he does not shatter the fantasy, he will grow old having never truly lived. He will die still waiting for life to start. This video is not a judgment, it is a mirror. And if you're still here, it's because a part of you recognizes the reflection, maybe in someone you love, maybe in yourself. The poor eternus isn't just a quirky personality. It's a profound, deep-seated force of the human psyche. It pretends to be innocence. It pretends to be freedom. But behind the sparkling eyes and grand dreams hides a raw, almost primal fear of adulthood. Carl Jung found this pattern woven through myths across history. The eternal boy who refuses to leave the protective garden of childhood. The chosen one, waiting forever for the right moment to claim destiny. A moment that never comes. You can see it everywhere if you look. Men who leap from job to job, chasing meaning, but never building anything real. Men who love fiercely for a season, then vanish when love demands roots. Men who speak endlessly about spirituality, purpose, and passion, yet can't file taxes, show up for meetings, or sustain a relationship past the first firework. And it's not because they're stupid. Often they are dazzlingly smart, creative, sensitive. That's what makes the trap so cruel. Their minds can touch the stars, but they can't build a bridge to the ground. They live in a flickering dream world, where they are heroes in waiting, gods in training, artists on the verge of a masterpiece, but always, always waiting. Not today, not yet. When things are right, they live in someday, but someday never comes. Carl Jung warned, the poor eternus suffers from a fracture in time. He is eternally almost, and thus never fully alive. You might ask yourself now, how much of your life has been spent almost starting? How many dreams have you spun into gold in your mind, only to watch them crumble before they even touched reality? There is beauty in the poor, a fierce, gorgeous beauty. He is the carrier of inner youth, infinite imagination, and wild hope. But if the boy inside stays in charge, if the boy refuses to hand the reins to the man, that beauty rots into decay. The boy wants love without the pain of heartbreak, victory without the sting of failure, freedom without the sacrifice of discipline. But there are no real wings without blood and bone, no real greatness without grit, no true freedom without responsibility freely chosen. You've seen it, haven't you? He says he's too special for ordinary work, but in truth, he's terrified of being ordinary. He claims he's too free for commitment, but in reality, he's terrified of being truly known. He insists he's just waiting for the right time, but the waiting is killing him slowly, invisibly. And here is the cruel twist. The longer he waits, the harder it becomes to act. The more dreams he piles up, the heavier the guilt of never fulfilling them. Until one day he's not a boy with sparkling eyes anymore. He's a man with hollowed-out dreams, staring back at a life half-lived. There's another force hiding inside this cycle, one rarely named but critical to understand: the devouring mother. No poor Eternus spins out of nowhere. Behind him, often invisible, often smiling, is the figure who coddled instead of challenged, who protected instead of prepared, who loved, but at the cost of his autonomy. Sometimes she is a real mother, flesh and blood. Sometimes she is symbolic, a partner, a grandmother, a caregiver. But always she nurtures and traps at the same time. Always she protects and weakens. She shields him from the bruises of real life, but in doing so, she leaves him without the muscles needed to carry his own weight. The boy grows in body but remains suspended in spirit, drifting, dreaming, deflecting. This symbiosis is comfortable, dangerously comfortable. Why face the brutal winds of adulthood when someone will catch you every time you fall? Why take the hard road when there's always someone smoothing the path behind you? But real growth demands rupture. It demands separation. It demands mourning the paradise of childhood and forging something new in the unknown fires of adult life. And if that break never happens, the boy becomes trapped in endless emotional adolescence. And everyone who tries to love him, lovers, friends, even children, gets trapped in the cycle too. The next part of this journey will take us deeper. We'll walk into the shadowed places where the poor hides from himself, and we'll ask the brutal question: how do you kill the fantasy without killing the soul? There comes a moment when even the eternal boy must feel it. That cold pressure in the chest, that quiet panic under the skin. The dreams that once floated like lanterns overhead start to feel like chains. The adventures he swore were just about to begin, they're fading, threadbare, into memory. He looks around and realizes everyone else has moved on. Not because they sold out, not because they gave up, but because they had the courage to begin. Meanwhile, he is still packing his bags for a journey he will never take. And inside, he knows it. He knows he was meant for more. He can feel it burning in his bones. But the cost terrifies him. The cost is letting go of the dream of perfect freedom. The cost is choosing a path, knowing it will close off others. The cost is growing up fully, painfully, irrevocably. Carl Jung warned that true individuation, the real birth of a full human being, is not a gentle process. It's violent. It's bloody. It's like a second birth, ripping the soul into new form. The boy must die so the man can live. And that death will feel like losing everything. The fantasy of being special without effort. The illusion of a perfect life just waiting to appear. The dream that you could stay forever, weightless, untouched by gravity. But gravity is not your enemy. Gravity is what lets you build something that can stand against the storms. So where does the journey back begin? First, by mourning. Not resisting, not rationalizing. Mourning the boy you were. Mourning the life you imagined. Mourning the mother figures you leaned on too long. It is grief that clears the way for real life. Second, by choosing structure over fantasy. Not because discipline is more moral, but because without roots, you cannot rise. You build rituals, routines, responsibilities. You do it clumsily at first. You fail. You fall. But you keep building. You show up on the days your soul screams for escape. You work through the boredom, through the fear, through the paralyzing craving for something more. Because real freedom, the freedom you've been chasing your entire life, only blooms after discipline. And third, you face your fear of ordinariness. You stop needing to be the most talented, the most visionary, the most exceptional. You give yourself permission to be another human being among other human beings, sweating, stumbling, struggling towards something real. And something astonishing happens when you do. You begin to build real joy, not the quick-burning excitement of the new, but the slow, powerful satisfaction of having roots that hold even when the winds come. You begin to feel real love, not the dazzling intoxication of an idealized partner, but the profound, gut-deep love that grows between two flawed, committed people who stay. You begin to create real work, not half-finished masterpieces rotting in a drawer, but things born from stubbornness and sweat, things that last. And slowly, something inside you wakes up that was asleep for years. Not the dreaming boy, not the frantic dream chaser, the builder, the warrior, the man, the one who can still imagine, still dream, but now can make the dream real. The one who carries the boy within him, not as a master, but as a trusted friend. Because the boy isn't your enemy. The boy was never wrong to dream, to hope, to imagine the extraordinary. But now it is the man's job to build the bridge between dream and reality. And that bridge is built plank by plank. Commitment, courage, consequence. If you've recognized yourself in this journey, if you feel that gnawing awareness that time is passing, that the life you were meant to live is still waiting, there's only one thing left to ask. Will you keep waiting for the perfect moment? Or will you make this moment the one you choose to start? There is no safety left in drifting. There is no salvation in excuses. There is no rescue coming from the outside. There is only the road beneath your feet and the will to walk it. It's terrifying, it's uncertain, it's painfully imperfect, and it's everything you were born for. If any part of you is awake right now, really awake, don't waste it. Act, not next month, not when it feels right, not when the fear goes away. Act while you are still afraid. Act while you are still aching. Act while the boy inside you still believes you can be something extraordinary, and the man inside you is finally ready to prove it. Because if you wait too long, the boy's hope will curdle into bitterness, and the man will shrink into a ghost. And that is not the story you were meant to live. So ask yourself right now, today, what small, real, imperfect step can you take toward the life you were born to live? Then take it. Take it trembling. Take it stubborn. Take it without any guarantee, but take it. Because your life, your real life, is not waiting behind some future door. It's waiting here, now in your hands, and no one else can build it but you.